Relax now, and feel the room around you, the steady support beneath your body, the soft warmth on your skin, the gentle hush of air moving across the sheets. Allow your shoulders to soften, and notice how each slow breath makes the whole world a little quieter. Our story today begins at the edge of a small, silver-lit lake, where the water breathes with the same calm rhythm as you. Imagine the willow trees leaning close, whispering to one another with leaves that sound like the softest rain. Hear a hearth far away, a low and steady crackle that matches the beating of your heart. Each crackle a friendly footstep guiding you further into rest. In this place, people from many long ago lands once gathered to share what they believed about the night and the dreams it carried. Some called the night a visitor who carried messages. Others said the night wore the cloak of those who had walked before. As you breathe in, picture a long, slow pathway made of moonlight. And with every breath you take, you glide a little further along it, safe and steady. You might notice, drifting through the trees, the soft echo of a lullaby hummed in a language that feels like warm honey. The melody folds around you like a blanket. With each note, your limbs grow heavier in the most comforting way, heavy like a drowsy branch, heavy like smooth stones warmed by a gentle sun. Your toes, your feet, your calves, each part releases, and a gentle warmth unfurls from your chest, spreading outward. Along the moonlit path, an old storyteller sits by the lake, a lantern cupped in open palms. Their voice is low and velvety, and as they speak, it is as if the world itself leans in to listen. They tell of the old word mare, a tiny, weighty creature that sometimes sits on a sleeper's chest, and of distant shores where people painted dream guards on their doors to keep traveling shadows friendly. Their words are neither hurried nor insistent. They drift like clouds, allowing your mind to choose what to hold and what to let go. As the storyteller continues, you feel a rhythm inhale, a soft ripple. Exhale, a little deeper relaxation, and with each rhythm you sink farther into the safe. Velvet dark, where every dream is held gently, and every worry can be unthreaded like a loose stitch. Imagine now, dear listener, the soft wind shifting over the lake, its ripples catching silver light like threads on a loom. The old storyteller's lantern flickers, and in its glow you see the reflection of ages past when different peoples looked upon nightmares not with fear, but with wonder, curiosity, and respect. The storyteller's voice deepens, soothing like the hum of a cello, and says, "In the misty north, where pine forests stretch into endless twilight, the Norse believed that dreams were journeys, paths the soul would walk while the body slept. The good dreams came from the gods' mead halls, warm and golden. The dark ones' nightmares were whispers carried by spirits of the cold wind, testing the heart's courage. As you listen, you can almost see it, a small wooden hall nestled between snowy trees, its hearth glowing softly. Inside, a traveler sleeps by the fire. Above him, faint silver wisps drift from his breath, shaping themselves into shadowy figures. Stories come alive in sleep. The warmth of the fire keeps them gentle, but when the wind howls through the cracks, one shadow lingers too long, curling like smoke above his chest. The Norse called it Mara, a being that brought the night's pressure, that heavy feeling before waking. But even this creature was part of balance, a guardian, not a foe. For without the dark, they said, the light could not dream. The storyteller's hands move slowly, tracing circles in the air. Far away, across deserts of sand and time, they whisper. The ancient Egyptians believed that dreams were letters from the divine. A nightmare was not a curse, it was a warning, a sacred sign. You imagine priests under the moon, sitting before a pool of still water, waiting for reflections of the gods to reveal what troubled the sleeper's mind. Incense curls through the air, myrrh and lotus, and you can almost feel its calm fragrance drift into your lungs, softening each breath. Each ancient culture saw the darkness differently, not something to fear, but something to listen to. The old storyteller smiles faintly, eyes reflecting both firelight and stars. Even nightmares, they say, carry messages from the deep. They teach the soul to face its own shadow, to find peace in what once frightened it. The lake sighs quietly in response, sound like velvet waves brushing against a dream. The night folds around you again, warm and infinite, as if time itself has decided to rest beside you. Your breath deepens, your eyelids grow heavier. The story continues to hum, soft as a heartbeat in the dark, The storyteller's lantern glows brighter for a moment, then softens again, as if breathing with the rhythm of the night itself. You feel yourself sinking deeper into calm, your body now weightless, almost transparent. The edges between you and the world blur into one silken breath. Our story now drifts eastward, the voice murmurs, to lands where the moon has long been a mirror of the soul. A breeze scented with jasmine floats through the trees. You can almost hear the distant chime of bamboo and the soft sweep of silk robes against wooden floors. In ancient China, dreams were seen as portals, bridges between the waking world and the spirit realm. The philosopher Zhuangzi once dreamt he was a butterfly, fluttering freely through golden light. When he awoke, he wondered softly, "Am I Zhuangzi, who dreamt of being a butterfly? Or a butterfly dreaming, I am Zhuangzi?" The storyteller's tone turns almost like a lullaby. Such dreams, they whisper, were not illusions, but echoes of the greater whole, gentle ripples upon the surface of the Tao. As they speak, you imagine a moonlit garden, stone lanterns glowing like resting stars, koi gliding in slow circles through dark water. In the stillness, a monk breathes deeply, eyes half closed, knowing that even the darkest dream is only a wave that will pass. In those nights, when nightmares came, when spirits of unease fluttered through the air, people burned sandalwood and spoke words of peace to guide the dream back into balance. The storyteller smiles, voice calm as rainfall, and across the sea, in Japan, dreams too held sacred weight. They believed that the first dream of the new year, called Hatsuyum, could foretell fortune or sorrow. To dream of Mount Fuji, of hawks, or of eggplants was said to bring luck, but to dream of shadows or serpents meant the year would test the heart. You can picture it now, a quiet wooden home, snow falling outside, a paper lantern glowing softly as someone sleeps beneath a quilt. Their breath fogs the cold air. A gentle fox spirit sits near the window, guarding the sleeper from wandering nightmares, tail curled around itself like a cushion of light. The old storyteller's voice fades to a whisper, but a teacher cloaked in mist, a guide asking, "What part of you seeks harmony tonight?" The lake's surface reflects the moon in perfect stillness. Your body feels like that water now, serene, vast, open, quiet. The voice hums again, low and soothing, as if the night itself is singing you deeper into comfort. The storyteller's lantern flickers once more, and suddenly the air around you shifts. The scent of pine fades, replaced by warm sand and sweet smoke. The night hums differently here, as if each grain of sand carries a whisper from centuries past. Our journey, the voice says softly, now drifts to the lands where the dunes sing under the stars, where dreams are guarded by firelight and faith. You find yourself beneath a sky of endless constellations. The desert wind moves like a sigh across the dunes, shaping them gently, endlessly, as though sculpting time itself. Every breath you take feels slower, smoother, drawn from the same rhythm as the desert's calm pulse. There, beside a glowing ember fire, sit a circle of nomads. Their faces are illuminated by orange light, eyes glimmering like ancient jewels. They speak in low, melodic tones, words that carry through the cool night like poetry. These are the old Bedouin dream watchers, the keepers of night stories. They believed, the storyteller explains, that dreams were the language of spirits, and that nightmares came when the soul wandered too far and could not find its way back. To protect a sleeper, families would whisper sacred verses before sleep, inviting peace to settle over the heart. One elder traces symbols in the sand, smooth lines that swirl into protective forms. The dream, she murmurs, is a traveler. If it finds kindness in your heart, it will return bearing gifts. If it finds fear, it will teach you courage. The storyteller's voice lowers, softer still. In these deserts, nightmares were not chased away. They were welcomed and spoken to, as one might comfort a trembling guest. The sleeper would listen, breathe, and release the darkness into the stars, knowing that even shadows dissolve in dawn. The fire crackles, slow and steady, each pop and hiss a lullaby of its own. You can almost feel the desert's night air brushing your skin, cool, dry, carrying the scent of myrrh and salt. The sand beneath your feet feels warm, grounding. The stars overhead shimmer, not like distant fires, but like watchful eyes, gentle, ancient, protective. The storyteller smiles, gazing into the embers. Across many worlds, they whisper, Humans learned to speak with their fears instead of fleeing them. For in the quiet conversation between dream and heart, peace was born. The firelight dims, becoming a soft glow that wraps you in warmth. Your breath deepens, your mind drifts. Every heartbeat feels like a step deeper into serenity. The storyteller's final words for the night float like a lullaby across the dunes. Let the winds carry your worries into the sand. Let the stars cradle you in their light. Sleep, traveler of dreams, for the night is kind. The lantern light wavers, and with its gentle dimming, the desert melts into vast golden plains beneath a blanket of deep indigo sky. You hear the low hum of insects, the rhythmic drumming of life all around you. The air smells of grass, earth, and distant rain. Now, the storyteller's voice hums softly. We journey to the heart of Africa, where dreams move like wind through tall grass. The night is alive with the whispers of spirits. The sound of a drum begins, slow and steady. Thoom, ... Thoom, ... Heartbeat of the land itself. Around a flickering campfire, elders and children sit together. Sparks dance into the sky, each one a tiny, glowing dream ascending into the stars. Here, dreams are not just stories of the mind. They're messages from ancestors, shimmering bridges between the living and the beyond. The storyteller's tone grows rich and warm. In many African traditions, they say, nightmares were not seen as punishment, but as visits, signs that the ancestors wished to speak. The sleeper would not run from the dream. They would rise before dawn, walk barefoot into the grass, and whisper their dream aloud to the rising sun, so that the ancestors could hear and carry away the fear. You can imagine it, the golden horizon trembling with early light, dew glistening like stars fall into earth. A young dreamer stands in that light, speaking softly to the sky. The fear fades from their chest, lifted by invisible hands. The warmth of the sun replaces it with calm. The storyteller leans forward slightly, their voice a hush. In the Zulu lands, they say, dreams were the realm of Amadlos, ancestral spirits who guided the living. A nightmare could mean that something in life was unbalanced, or that a promise was forgotten. But to face that dream, to listen to its lesson, was to restore harmony between worlds. You can almost hear their songs now, low, resonant hums that blend with the wind. They sound like the earth itself breathing. Every note wraps around you, grounding you deeper into comfort. The fire crackles, the grass sways. The stars above shimmer with slow, steady pulses of light, like the heartbeat of an ancient sky. The storyteller closes their eyes, their voice drifting almost into a whisper. Nightmares, too, are guardians, they murmur. They arrive to remind us that peace is not the absence of shadows. It is the calm found within them. The wind sighs through the plains. A warm, rhythmic peace fills the air. Your breathing slows again, steady and deep, as if your soul is syncing with that ancient drumbeat. Thoom, ... Thoom, ... With each sound, you feel safer, softer, closer to dream. The drumbeat of the plains fades, soft as a heartbeat slipping into slumber. The lantern's glow bends into a shade of deep emerald, and the air cools, moist, fragrant, alive. You hear the gentle patter of dews sliding from leaf to leaf, and the forest breathes around you, vast and old. The storyteller's voice returns, smooth as moss under bare feet. Our story now wanders north again, into the great forests where mists curl like memory, and every tree keeps its own secret. Here, dreams and the waking world have always shared roots. You feel yourself walking through towering pines and birch, their trunks silvered by moonlight, as tiny motes of light, fireflies, perhaps spirits, drift lazily through the air. Each one glows with a pulse that seems to match your own heartbeat. In the old Slavic lands, the storyteller murmurs, they spoke of Naknitsa, a shadow who visited sleeping children, bringing strange dreams or heavy chests. Yet even this spirit was not wholly feared. Mothers would hang iron at the window or whisper soft charms to the night, not to banish her, but to remind her to be gentle. The storyteller pauses. You can almost feel that hush, the loving quiet of a mother brushing a strand of hair from her child's brow, whispering a lullaby half prayer, half song. The fireflies sway like her words, gentle and luminous, wrapping the darkness in tenderness. And in the forests of the Sami people, Far in the cold north, the storyteller continues. They believed dreams were woven from the same light that dances in the sky, the aurora. When a nightmare came, they said it was because a spirit had tangled the threads of light too tightly. The shaman's drum, when played with care, could loosen those threads, letting the dream breathe again. You can hear it now, a low rhythmic drumming, different from the plains, but just as grounding. Each soft strike seems to vibrate through your chest, loosening something within, uncoiling a deep calm. The forest hums back in harmony, leaves rustling like distant applause, the stream whispering like silk. The storyteller's tone lowers, melodic and slow. Even the darkest dream, they say, is only a knot waiting to be untied. And when we breathe through it with patience and care, we find that it was only light folded in shadow. All along, the lantern flickers, gold, green, blue, and you watch as the forest spirits fade into mist, curling upward into the moonlight until all that remains is stillness. A gentle sigh escapes your lips, effortless and free. You feel as though you too have been untied. Your heartbeat steadies, your limbs are heavy. The world feels safe, ancient, and kind. The forest slowly fades, its mist rolling away into open plains beneath a copper dawn. You feel the air shift, drier, lighter, carrying the scent of sage and wood smoke. The sound of soft chanting rises and falls like waves against the shore of sleep. The storyteller's lantern glows again, this time with a golden hue, as if morning itself has taken form within its flame. Our path, the storyteller whispers, now crosses the great oceans to the lands of the first peoples of the Americas, where dreams are sacred maps. Guiding souls through the unseen, you find yourself standing in a wide circle of stones, surrounded by soft grass that sways beneath an open, starlit sky. In the center stands a woman with long, silvered hair, her voice steady as she ties feathers and beads into a delicate web, the dream catcher. The storyteller explains, dream catchers were woven by mothers and grandmothers to protect their sleeping children. The web was meant to catch bad dreams, while the good dreams would slip through the hole in the center, gliding down the feathers into the sleeper's mind. The storyteller pauses, letting you imagine it. The flickering firelight, the faint scent of cedar and smoke, the night air cool and safe. The woman hums a lullaby in a tongue older than memory, her fingers moving with care. Each knot is tied with intention. Each bead gleams softly in the light. The rhythm of her weaving syncs with your breathing, slow, soft, serene. As the morning sun rose, the storyteller continues, the light would cleanse the web of any dark dreams that had been caught. Fear was never meant to linger. It was meant to be burned away by dawn. You can almost feel that dawn now, golden light spilling across your skin, warm and forgiving. The air hums with peace, with release. Every shadow dissolves. Every ache grows distant, like fog melting in the sun. Dreams were threads of connection between the earth, the wind, and the soul. A nightmare could mean that harmony was broken, that one had forgotten to listen to the balance of the world. The remedy was simple, to greet the sunrise, to feel the light upon one's face, to remember gratitude. The storyteller looks at you gently. Their eyes are kind, endless. You see, they whisper across the world. All dreams, even dark ones, are teachers. They come to remind us that we are still part of something vast and breathing, that we are never alone beneath the night. The wind sighs through the plains, carrying the faint sound of feathers brushing together. The dream catcher sways softly above you, and for a moment, you feel as though your own thoughts are being cradled in its web, held safely, gently, until morning comes. The storyteller's lantern hums again, its glow shifting into the deep amber of dusk. The air warms. The smell of eucalyptus and smoke lingers softly. You can almost hear the crackle of firewood and the distant call of night birds across the open expanse. Our story, the voice murmurs gently, now journeys to the southern lands, where the sky seems to stretch forever, and the earth remembers the footsteps of the ancients. Here, dreams were not just stories of the night, they were creation itself. You see it in your mind. Red soil glowing under a violet sky, a fire burning low, surrounded by quiet figures. Their faces gleam in the firelight as they listen to the old ones, The Aboriginal elders, speaking of the Dreamtime, or Jukurpa, the great weaving of stories that made the world. The storyteller's tone deepens, reverent and steady. The people of the dreaming believed that the world was sung into existence by the spirits. Mountains, rivers, stars, and creatures all were born from those sacred songs. When they slept, they returned to those songs, walking again beside the ancestors who shaped all things. Nightmares were not curses. They were calls from the ancestors to listen more closely, to remember who they were. You can almost hear it, the soft, rhythmic chant that echoes across the desert night. The voices rise and fall like breath. The wind carries their words in waves curling around the fire, sweeping through your thoughts like warm water. Each sound seems to vibrate through your chest, deep, resonant, soothing. When a dream brought fear, the storyteller says, they would not turn from it. They would sit with the fire, draw the story into the sand, and speak to it. They believed that if you drew the shapes of your dream, the spirit behind it would reveal its meaning. Fear would transform into understanding, confusion into peace. You can picture an elder tracing curved lines in the red earth. A serpent for the water spirit, circles for the ancestors, dots for stars. The shapes glow faintly in the firelight, like a language older than words. As the drawing takes form, a sense of harmony fills the air. You feel it too, a warm, grounding calm that spreads through your chest and shoulders, dissolving tension you didn't know you held. The storyteller's voice softens until it feels almost like a breeze against your ear. They whisper, dreams were not escapes, they were bridges. Each dream, even the dark ones, returned you to the beginning of everything, where all hearts beat as one. The fire's glow brightens, then fades to a soft ember red. The stars above you glimmer like eyes watching over a sleeping world, endless, loving, patient. You take another breath, slow, deep, weightless, and the stillness within you feels ancient, sacred, whole. The embers of the Australian night fade, and in their place comes the sound of gentle surf, soft waves, kissing the shore beneath a moon drenched in silver. The air turns warm and damp, sweet with salt and flowers. You can almost feel it, a misty breeze brushing your skin, carrying the scent of plumeria and ocean spray. The storyteller's voice rises again, smoother than the tide. Now, our story sails east, to the islands where sea and sky are one, and the people listen to the ocean as others listen to dreams. These are the isles of whispering spirits, where the night speaks through waves and wind. You imagine a Polynesian village resting beneath palm trees. Lanterns sway softly from bamboo poles, and the moonlight ripples across the water like 1,000 tiny lullabies. Elders sit near the sand, telling stories of Momia, the dream realm, a sacred place where ancestors travel to visit the living. In many island traditions, the storyteller explains dreams were voyages, canoe journeys of the soul. When nightmares came, they were believed to be storms upon the ocean of sleep. The wise did not fear the storms. They guided their canoes through them, trusting that calmer waters always followed. You can almost hear the paddles dipping into the water, swoosh, swoosh, a rhythm that matches your breath. With each breath in, you move forward across smooth waves. With each breath out, you glide deeper into calm. When the islanders dreamed of fire or wind, the storyteller continues, they would wake and sing the dream aloud. To share the dream was to release it, to let the sea carry away what no longer belonged. The ocean was their dream catcher, their endless listener. A soft ukulele melody drifts through the air now, blending with the whisper of waves. Its gentle strumming feels like a heartbeat, delicate, warm, and endlessly reassuring. The people dance slowly in the moonlight, their shadows moving like spirits across the sand. Every motion, every note seems to say, all dreams belong to the sea, all fears return to peace, as the storyteller looks toward the horizon, where the first hint of dawn touches the clouds with pink and gold. In these islands, they murmur, dreams remind us that the soul is like the tide, it ebbs and flows, but always returns home. The ocean hushes, the world grows soft again. You feel the sway of the water beneath you, gentle and safe, as if you too are being carried home through an endless cradle of calm. Your eyelids grow heavier. Your breathing slows. The story drifts onward, like a wave melting into the next. The The soft hush of the ocean fades into a deep stillness, a hush so complete that even the wind seems to hold its breath. Now, before you, rises a mountain bathed in the first blush of dawn. Its snow-capped peak glows rose-gold beneath a sky awakening from night. The air is cool and thin, scented faintly with pine and incense. The storyteller's lantern flickers once more, this time glowing with the soft amber of morning. Their voice flows gently, as though it too were waking slowly. Our journey, they whisper, returns now to the lands of the rising sun, where the spirit of the dream is not just in the night, but in every breath of life. You can picture a small wooden temple perched halfway up the mountain, its roof curved like a sleeping bird's wings. Inside, a monk sits before a paper window, tracing a circle in the air in Sioux, the symbol of wholeness and impermanence. His movements are slow, deliberate, almost dreamlike. In Zen teaching, the storyteller explains, nightmares were not enemies, nor omens, they were mirrors. To see the self clearly, one must also see the shadow. The dream simply shows what the waking heart has hidden. You feel that truth hum quietly within you, a kind of gentle honesty, like light filtering through clouds. The monk breathes deeply. The sound of a single shakuhachi flute fills the space. One note, pure and lingering, as if it carries the weight of silence itself. That sound, that stillness, invites you to drift deeper. Your thoughts slow, your body softens. In the Shinto belief, the storyteller continues, mountains were sacred, homes to spirits and ancestors who could enter dreams to offer guidance. The gods of the wind and the river, the foxes, the cranes, all could visit in sleep to remind a person to live in balance with the world. The scene shifts in your mind. A woman sleeps beside a running stream, and a fox spirit approaches quietly, curling up beside her to chase away bad dreams. The water reflects the moon, rippling softly like breath in the quiet dark. When she wakes, she feels at peace. Her fear carried away in the fox's tail, her heart lightened as if reborn. The storyteller looks up toward the mountain's crown, where sunlight now glints across endless snow. Dreams, they murmur, are prayers in motion, and nightmares. They're simply prayers that forgot their way home. But even they, when listened to, find their light again. A warm breeze moves across the mountain, brushing your face like a blessing. You breathe it in, cool, clean, timeless, and let it settle deep within. You feel lighter now, as though something heavy is quietly dissolved, leaving only calm. The mountain, vast and steady, seems to hum softly in your chest, a silent reminder that peace does not shout, it simply is. The glow of dawn fades gently, and in its place comes the shimmer of twilight. Once more, purple skies brushed with gold, the kind of light that seems to exist between waking and sleep. The storyteller's lantern glows brighter, casting long, slow shadows that sway like ancient memories across the ground. Our story, they say softly, now carries us to places time has forgotten, to the lost kingdoms whose dreams still breathe beneath the dust of history. The air grows warm, perfumed with myrrh and old stone. You can almost hear the faint echo of flutes and distant bells. The storyteller's voice slows to a hypnotic cadence, inviting every breath you take to match its rhythm. In the great lands of Mesopotamia, as a cradle of civilization, the storyteller begins, dreams were sacred messages from the gods. Kings would sleep within temple chambers, believing that the divine would speak through visions in the night. And when nightmares came, swirling storms, shadowed rivers, fires that could not be quenched, the dream priests would gather, reading every image like sacred script. You can imagine it now. High temple walls carved with stars, oil lamps flickering against clay tablets. A priest kneels before a sleeping ruler, his hands lifted toward the heavens. He whispers, "The dream is not punishment, it is instruction." His voice is calm, guiding. The nightmare, once fearful, becomes a map, a message leading the dreamer toward balance once more. The Babylonians, the storyteller continues, believe that each dream carried a spirit, some kind, some mischievous, some only lost. To soothe the restless spirits, they would pour offerings of sweet wine upon the earth at sunrise. Letting the day purify the night, you hear the faint trickle of liquid, the soft sound of dawn birds calling above a river. The scene feels gentle, peaceful. You can sense that even the nightmares here have softened like wild creatures tamed by song. The storyteller pauses, and the air seems to shimmer with memory. Far to the west, they whisper in the forgotten courts of ancient Greece. Philosophers once said that dreams were bridges from the mortal to the divine. The god Morpheus, they believed, shaped dreams in human form, bringing messages wrapped in illusion. Even a nightmare, they said, was a visit from Morpheus' darker kin, reminders of mortality, of wisdom born from shadow. The sound of distant lyres hums softly now, golden and faint, like a lullaby from another age. In your mind's eye you see marble pillars bathed in moonlight, and a sleeping poet beneath olive trees. The breeze carries the scent of lavender and the faint murmur of water from a nearby fountain. Every sound seems to echo forever, as if the world itself were dreaming. Nightmares, the storyteller says, their voice low and rich, were never meant to harm. They were teachers, sculptors of courage, and when the dreamer awoke, the fear was gone, replaced by the knowing that darkness, too, belongs to the story of light. The lantern dims again, flickering softly. The kingdom fades like mist under the morning sun. You are left with warmth, the sense that even what was lost still hums beneath the world, like a hidden heartbeat, timeless and calm. Your breathing slows once more. Your heart rests easy. And in the hush of this ancient night, the storyteller's final whisper feels like a promise. Nothing truly vanishes, dreamer. It only changes shape and waits to be remembered. The world around you drifts softly once more, dissolving into cool air and a sound like distant wind brushing over ice. The storyteller's lantern glows faintly blue now, casting pale ripples of light across a frozen lake. You can almost feel the chill on your skin, refreshing, crisp, clean. Above you, the aurora borealis begins to unfurl, waves of green and violet rippling across the night like silk underwater. Now, the storyteller murmurs, our journey carries us north to the lands of snow and silence. Here, dreams are not just stories, but spirits of the sky. You picture small wooden houses, nestled under fur-draped roofs, smoke curling gently from chimneys into the frozen air. Inside one of them, a fire burns low, and an elder sits cross-legged beside it, their face lined with the wisdom of countless winters. Their voice is soft, steady, much like the storyteller's. In the traditions of the Sami people of the Arctic, the voice explains. Nightmares were thought to be visits from wandering souls, sometimes lost ancestors, sometimes echoes of creatures unseen. The dreamer, when frightened, would whisper a song upon waking, guiding the spirit back home. These songs were called joiks, not prayers, not words, but living melodies of memory. You hear one now, a gentle, humming tune, low and rhythmic. It's like the sound of snow falling against pine trees, or the heartbeat of the earth beneath the frost. The melody swirls in your imagination, lulling you deeper. When a child dreamed of the storm, the storyteller continues, the elders would not scold them or call it bad luck. Instead, they would say, the wind came to teach you its song, so the child would listen. And soon fear would fade, replaced by awe. The scene glows brighter, ribbons of aurora swirling like soft brushstrokes across the heavens. The light moves with the rhythm of breath, as if alive. You feel its pulse, its quiet beauty, sinking into your senses. In the Norse lands, the storyteller whispers, dreams and destiny were threads in the same loom. The goddess Freya, it was said, wove the dreams of mortals into golden strands, shaping their fates with the shimmer of her tears. And when nightmares came, visions of battle, of shadow, they were seen as messages from the Valkyries, guiding souls to courage. You see it, a long hall flickering with torchlight, warriors sleeping with their shields beside them. Overhead, ghostly riders pass through the aurora, their hair flowing like fire in the wind.
Ow.
But there is no fear, only reverence, only silence. The North, the storyteller says gently, teaches us that even the coldest night is full of light, if one learns to look up. The aurora dances more brightly now, painting the snow in waves of emerald and rose. The lake mirrors it, turning the whole world into a moving dream of color. You feel weightless, timeless, floating somewhere between wakefulness and sleep. Each word, each breath, carries you closer to stillness. And as the last notes of the joik fade into the hush of northern wind, The storyteller's voice becomes a soft echo in your mind. Dream well beneath the lights, traveler. Let your fears drift skyward. The heavens will turn them to song. The cold shimmer of the aurora fades, and in its place comes warmth, dry, soft, and endless. The storyteller's lantern flickers gold again, and you find yourself standing upon sands that stretch as far as the horizon. Each grain glows faintly, beneath a canopy of stars so sharp and brilliant they almost hum. A warm wind drifts by, carrying the scent of myrrh and the sound of distant flutes. The night sky feels close here, vast and breathing. The storyteller's voice returns, slow and velvety. Our story now travels south, into the heart of the desert, where the line between dream and reality has always been thin as silk. You feel the desert's quiet. Heartbeat beneath your feet, a steady rhythm, ancient and calm. In the dunes of Arabia, long ago, the voice continues. Nomads believed that dreams were carried on the wind. Each gust was a messenger, bringing whispers from ancestors or jinn, unseen beings made of smokeless fire. When nightmares came, they would not flee, but listen. For in fear, they said, hides the guidance of the unseen. You picture a tent beneath the starlight, its fabric swaying softly, the fire outside crackling low. Inside, a traveler sleeps wrapped in linen, his face peaceful. The desert wind plays at the edges of the tent like a lullaby, whispering secrets of long journeys, of oases yet to be found. Among the Bedouin, the storyteller says, a nightmare was not an omen of doom, but a story untold. The dreamer would share it at dawn, and the tribe would gather, adding their wisdom to its meaning. In this way, nightmares became lessons, not for one person, but for all. You can almost see them, faces glowing orange in the early sun. Tea brewing over a small fire, their laughter soft and kind as they interpret each symbol, shadow, until what once frightened becomes something beautiful. The storyteller's tone lowers, like a warm hand resting over your heart. And in the ancient land of Egypt, dreams were seen as the speech of gods. Pharaohs built temples not only for waking prayer but for sleeping places where one might rest upon sacred stone and invite the divine to speak through visions. The god base, small and smiling, guarded sleepers from evil spirits. He was the god of laughter, of protection, for even in the dark there is joy. The fire crackles. You can almost hear the Nile in the distance, murmuring softly as the stars shimmer upon its surface. A priest lights incense and waves it in gentle circles, the smoke rising like threads of memory toward the heavens. In the desert, the storyteller whispers, nightmares dissolve in the dawn. For how can shadow linger where the sun burns so bright? You breathe deeply and feel warmth fill your chest, a serene, grounded peace that seems to stretch in every direction. The wind moves again, slow and melodic, carrying the whisper of ancient tongues. Dream not in fear, but in faith. For every shadow is simply the sun, seen from the other side. The lantern's glow fades to amber. The stars above pulse softly like the heartbeat of the sky. You feel yourself sinking into stillness, wrapped not in sand, but in comfort, in belonging. The storyteller's voice drifts one final time before the night exhales around you. Sleep well beneath the desert stars. Hey, dreamer. Let the wind carry away your unrest and leave only the soft silence of peace. The warmth of the desert fades into the cool hush of green twilight. You breathe in deeply, and the scent of moss, cedar, and damp earth fills your senses. The sound of rustling leaves surrounds you, soft as a whisper, steady as a heartbeat. Somewhere in the distance, water trickles the melody of a forest spring. The storyteller's lantern flickers emerald now, its glow dancing over the trunks of towering trees. The air feels alive here, as though every branch and root is listening, dreaming alongside you. Our story, the voice murmurs gently, now wanders into the ancient forests of the east, where trees are believed to hold the dreams of those who sleep beneath them. You can almost see it. A forest glade bathed in silver light. A lone traveler lies beside a small fire, wrapped in a woven cloak. Tiny motes of light, fireflies, or perhaps something older, drift lazily through the air. Their glow pulses softly in rhythm with your breath. In Japan, the old tales spoke of the Baku, the dream eater. When a nightmare came, people whispered Baku, come eat my dream, and the creature, half tiger, half elephant, would appear unseen to devour it. But if one called too often, the Baku might hunger still and take the good dreams too. You imagine it now, a gentle, lumbering shape moving through the mist, its eyes calm and kind. It passes through the sleeping traveler, leaving only stillness behind. The fear dissolves like smoke across the seas in China. The storyteller continues softly. Dreams were thought to be the wandering of the soul. If one was startled awake too quickly, it was said the soul might not return at once, leaving the body weary and dazed. And so, gentle waking was sacred. A soft voice, a hand upon the shoulder, a whisper like morning dew touching a leaf. You can almost feel it now, the feather-light touch of morning returning, the peace of knowing that the soul always finds its way home. The storyteller's tone deepens, slow and rhythmic, like the lull of wind through ancient pines. In the Indonesian islands, the forest was alive with spirits who spoke through dreams. Some came as animals, a hornbill, a serpent, a tiger, carrying messages from the ancestors. If the dream frightened, it was not to harm, but to awaken understanding. To fear was to forget that the spirit world is never cruel, only truthful. The forest hums softly now, symphony of crickets, frogs, and distant birds. The glow of the lantern reflects off a nearby pool, the surface perfectly still, mirroring the stars above. When one dreamed of being lost in the woods, the storyteller whispers. The elders said, "Do not run, walk until the path itself begins to sing. For only when the heart is quiet can one hear the spirit's voice." You feel that silence now, vast, calming, eternal. The forest no longer seems dark or mysterious. It feels safe, protective, almost sentient, like it's cradling your thoughts in its branches. The storyteller breathes deeply, and you follow the sound, inhaling calm, exhaling weight. The forest of dreams, they say, reminds us that fear is only an echo and peace, a song waiting to be remembered. The lantern's glow fades to silver. Fireflies drift upward, twirling toward the moonlight like tiny souls returning home. The air is still. The forest sleeps, and you too drift with it, gently, weightlessly. Rest now beneath the dreaming trees. The voice whispers, one last time. The spirits are near, and they are kind. The soft hum of the forest fades into the rhythm of waves, a slow, eternal breathing that seems to come from the heart of the world itself. You feel the air grow moist, tinged with salt and seaweed. The storyteller's lantern now glows with a gentle aquamarine hue, its reflection shimmering upon an unseen tide. The sound of the surf rolls in, hush, 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 a steady whisper that feels like the earth's own lullaby. You can almost feel the sand beneath your feet, cool and smooth, the foam brushing over your skin and retreating again like a sigh. Our journey now drifts, the storyteller says softly, across the oceans, where dreams have always been born from the waves. You picture an island, palm trees swaying, stars scattered across the sky like pearls. A bonfire flickers and voices rise in harmony. The sea glows faintly with bioluminescent light, as if the ocean itself is awake and listening. In the Polynesian islands, the storyteller begins. Dreams were thought to travel over water, carried on the tides from the spirits of ancestors. A nightmare was not a curse, but a message that had lost its way. The people would speak to the sea in the morning, whispering their dreams into the foam, asking the ocean to carry them back to peace. You can hear it now, the soft murmur of prayers to the tide, the gentle laughter of waves in reply. The air tastes of salt and sweetness. The stars pulse faintly above, their light mirrored perfectly below on the calm sea surface. The ocean, the voice continues, has no borders. It connects every shore, every dreamer. To those who live by its song, nightmares are simply waves that crash too hard. But always, they recede. A hush falls. You imagine yourself floating on the open sea, the world silent but for the rhythmic lap of water against your body. Above the moon spills silver across endless ripples. Feel light, drifting, timeless, part of something vast and gentle. In the Maori traditions of Aotearoa, the storyteller whispers, dreams were the realm of Hainui Tepi, the great goddess of night and death, but also of transformation. To dream deeply was to visit her, to shed what must be shed, and return renewed. You see her now in your mind, a vast, luminous figure, standing at the edge of the ocean, her hair like the Milky Way, her face both serene and sorrowful. She smiles at the dreamer and touches their brow, turning fear into calm, darkness into starlight. The waves roll slower now, their rhythm deep and hypnotic. Each sound folds over you like a blanket. Each echo carries you further inward, where peace and wonder live side by side. The sea, the storyteller murmurs, teaches the dreamer that nothing is permanent. Waves rise, and they fall. Fear comes, and it passes. Always, always, the tide returns to stillness. The lantern dims, leaving only the glow of the moon across the gentle waves. You feel the pulse of the ocean in your chest, steady, ancient, kind. Every breath matches its rhythm. In, out, in. Rest upon the water, the storyteller whispers. Let your thoughts drift away. The ocean will hold you, as it holds the dreams of all who've ever slept beneath its stars. The sound of the tide fades slowly into silence, till all that remains is peace, deep, infinite, and warm. The gentle hush of the sea begins to fade, and in its place comes warmth. A flicker of orange, the crackle of wood, and the soft scent of smoke drift through the air. You feel yourself surrounded by comfort, the kind of heat that melts tension, that feels like safety itself. The storyteller's lantern glows now with the golden light of a fire, its edges dancing, alive with motion. Now, the storyteller says, their tone hushed and tender. We come to the dreams born of fire, the ones told around the hearth, where families gathered, where fear was turned to story and story to wisdom. You can imagine it clearly, a circle of people seated close to a crackling hearth. The flames dance in their eyes, reflecting countless lifetimes of tales. Outside, the wind howls faintly, but inside, it's calm, just the pop of embers, the murmur of voices, the comfort of belonging. In the old Celtic lands, the voice continues softly. The fire was sacred. They called it the heart of the home, the keeper of spirits and dreams alike. Before sleep, families would whisper their worries into the flame, believing that the smoke would carry them to the other world, where the gods might turn them into peace. You picture a child gazing into the hearth, eyes heavy with drowsiness, watching shapes form in the glow dragons. Rivers, mountains, all made of light and shadow. The flickering warmth feels almost alive, whispering secrets in every spark. The Celts believed that when a nightmare visited, the storyteller murmurs, it was a restless ancestor seeking to be remembered. So they would toss a bit of salt into the fire and speak the name of the forgotten. The flame would rise higher, and in that moment, the spirit would find rest again. The wood shifts softly. Sparks leap upward like tiny stars. You can almost hear faint laughter, or perhaps just the sigh of the burning logs. In Slavic villages, the storyteller says, people told of the domovoi, the hearth spirit, small, unseen, and ancient. If treated kindly, he guarded the home, kept nightmares at bay, and whispered good dreams to sleeping children. But if ignored or disrespected, he might turn mischievous, sending restless visions until harmony returned. You feel that warmth deepen, as though the domovoi himself has settled beside you, small and kind, brushing away worry like dust. The fire pops again, steady and soothing. The fire's lesson, the storyteller continues, their voice low and rhythmic, is that even the fiercest flame softens with care. That fear, when faced with warmth, becomes light. You breathe deeply now, inhaling the faint sweetness of wood smoke, exhaling peace. Your heartbeat matches the rhythm of the fire's crackle. Each breath feels slower, deeper, safer. In your mind, the room around you glows amber and gold. The faces by the hearth blur softly, not gone, just blending into the warmth, into memory. The storyteller's voice becomes part of the flame itself. Whispering from somewhere deep and close, fire dreams remind us that transformation begins with letting go. What we burn, we release. What we release becomes light again. The flame flickers low now, settling into a steady, gentle glow. The last sparks drift upward like fireflies, vanishing into the night's calm air. You feel cocooned in warmth, protected, serene. Sleep easy by the fire, dreamer, the storyteller whispers. The embers will keep your fears away till dawn. The warmth of the fire softens and fades, its golden glow melting into a vast, dark blue, the color of midnight itself. You feel a cool breeze pass over your skin, gentle and light, carrying the scent of night-blooming flowers and distant rain. The storyteller's lantern glimmers softly now, No longer one hue, but many silver, violet, and deep indigo, shifting like the stars themselves. The journey, the storyteller whispers, has brought us far, through deserts, forests, oceans, and fire. But now, we look upward to the sky, where all dreams begin. You tilt your mind's gaze upward, and the heavens unfold. The stars seem endless, more than you've ever seen, each one pulsing softly as if alive. Some glimmer sharp and white, others glow faintly red or gold. The Milky Way stretches across the horizon like a river of light, flowing eternally through silence. In many cultures, the storyteller continues, their voice low and smooth as velvet. The night sky was the great dream of creation. Every star, a spirit, every constellation, a story, every meteor, a messenger. You picture a vast plain, quiet, wind-brushed, ancient. A group of people sit around a dying fire, their faces turned toward the heavens. Their voices rise in soft song, half prayer, half memory. In Africa's Kalahari Desert, the storyteller says, the Sand People told that the stars were the eyes of ancestors, watching over the living as they slept. A nightmare meant one of those eyes had closed, so they would whisper words of gratitude, coaxing the ancestor to open it once more. When morning came, peace returned. The stars above you seemed to shimmer brighter, as if in response. You feel their gaze, not heavy or distant, but kind, ancient, familiar. In Australia, the Aboriginal Dreamtime taught that the world was sung into existence by the dreams of the ancestors. To dream, therefore, was to participate in creation itself. And when a nightmare came, it was the world reminding you of the song you'd forgotten to sing. The storyteller pauses. You hear the faint hum of a didgeridoo in the distance. Low, resonant, grounding. It vibrates through the air, through your bones, through your very breath. The sky, they say softly, is not only above us, it lives within us. Every heartbeat echoes the pulse of the stars. Every dream is a constellation waiting to be named. You see it now, the pattern of stars shifting, forming shapes from your own imagination. A bird, a wave, a hand reaching upward, and slowly they dissolve into a vast spiral of light, endless, welcoming. In the high Andes, the Quechua people believed that when you dreamed beneath a clear sky, your spirit climbed into the Milky Way, the Mayu, the celestial river. There you could meet ancestors, or drink from the waters of eternity. Nightmares, they said, came only when you forgot your way home. But even then, the stars would guide you back. You feel that guiding light now, gentle, steady, surrounding you completely. It's as though the universe itself has drawn closer, wrapping you in its quiet. Storyteller's voice slows, each word flowing like breath. When you gaze at the night, remember, it is not empty. It is full. Every fear, every wish, every forgotten dream drifts there, waiting to return when you are ready. The stars above begin to swirl slowly, forming a great spiral. It feels less like movement and more like time itself turning. You float within it, calm, light, infinite. And the storyteller's whisper comes one last time, soft as starlight. Sleep beneath the sacred sky, dreamer. The universe is listening. Let your breath join the rhythm of the stars. Rest in the dream of creation. The stars above begin to fade, not into darkness, but into something softer, deeper, a velvet twilight that feels eternal. The air grows still, carrying the faintest hint of rain and fresh earth, like the scent that rises after the first storm of spring. The storyteller's lantern glows gently in your mind. Now neither gold, nor blue, nor green, but pearly white, the color of balance, of all dreams woven together. The sky has watched us, the storyteller whispers, and now it is time to turn inward, to the dream within the dream, to the circle of night, where endings and beginnings meet. You breathe slowly, letting that phrase settle in your chest. Each inhale feels like gathering light, and each exhale like release. All around you, the world feels weightless. The ground, the air, the stars, all dissolve until you are floating within the quiet pulse of existence itself. In many ancient cultures, the storyteller says softly, sleep was not just rest, it was a return. A return to the place before birth and the place beyond death. A reminder that life itself is a dream the soul continues to shape. Their voice drifts lower, slower. In Tibetan teachings, they spoke of the bardo, the in-between state. Each night when one dreams, the soul practices the art of dying and being reborn, learning how to let go and awaken again. Even nightmares, they said, are lessons in transformation, chances to greet fear with awareness. You can almost see it, a mountain monastery shrouded in mist, prayer flags fluttering softly in the breeze. A monk sits beside a butter lamp, his eyes closed, breathing in rhythm with the flame. His mind is still, but within him a vast universe of color and sound moves like a river. The Tibetans practice dream yoga, the storyteller continues. They learn to awaken within their dreams, to walk through them, to meet shadows with compassion, and to find liberation even while sleeping. For when the dreamer learns to see through fear, they are no longer bound by it. The flame wavers gently, and the monk smiles serene, timeless. You feel that calm ripple through you, dissolving tension from your body like snow melting in sunlight. In ancient India, the voice says, they called this state Turiya, the fourth consciousness. Beyond waking, beyond dreaming, beyond deep sleep, place of pure awareness, where the dreamer and the dream are one. The air shimmers softly now, filled with the faint ringing of temple bells. The sound vibrates within you, steady, endless. Each chime feels like the beat of your heart, sinking you to something vast and eternal. The storyteller pauses and then whispers gently. All across the world, the circle repeats. Birth, death, dream, rebirth. Nightmares and peace, shadow and light, each needed, each sacred. For just as the moon waxes and wanes, so too does the spirit move through its cycles of fear and renewal. You see the moon rise now full, radiant, bathing the world in silver. It glows brighter and brighter until everything becomes light. You realize that you are not standing beneath the moon. You are the moon, glowing softly, timelessly. Every memory, every dream, every life you've lived hums quietly within that light. The storyteller's voice becomes almost part of your breath. To dream is to remember. To wake is to begin again. And every time you close your eyes, the circle turns once more. The white lantern fades until it is simply the moon, and then the moon fades too, leaving only a soft pulse of light where your heart rests. Rest, dreamer, the storyteller whispers, for you are both story and storyteller, flame and smoke, tide and shore. All that ever was, all that ever will be, flows through you tonight. You inhale once more, and the air feels cool, endless, eternal. When you exhale, you release everything, every weight, every thought, every name, and there is only silence. A beautiful, infinite silence. Now, the storyteller whispers, the dream drifts across the oceans once more. Two lands of feathers, drums, and sacred breath. You feel the air grow warmer, carrying the scent of sage and sweetgrass. A faint rhythm begins, a heartbeat drum, steady and calm. The sound moves through your body like a slow tide, and your breath naturally matches its rhythm. You open your mind's eyes and see before you a circle of soft light. Figures gather around a crackling fire, their faces serene, eyes closed, moving gently with the pulse of the earth. Each one breathes in harmony with the flames. Feathers, beads, and shells sway in their hair, glinting under the moon. In the traditions of many indigenous peoples of the Americas, the storyteller's voice murmurs. Dreams are not illusions, but messages. They come from ancestors, from the land, from the spirit world that breathes beside our own. The crackle of the fire seems to answer the voice. Popping softly, glowing red and gold, smoke rises and twines through the air, curling around drum catchers hung from wooden posts. Each web shimmers as it catches the night breeze, glowing faintly as though alive. Among the Ojibwe, it was said that the dreamcatcher was born from the web of a Saibakashi. The spider woman, the storyteller says. She wove her web for the children of the world, to catch the bad dreams, the nightmares, in its threads. When the morning sun rose, the light would dissolve them, leaving only the gentle dreams to drift through. The air grows luminous, as though dawn is approaching. You can almost see golden light filtering through those webs. Tiny drops of dew, sparkling like tears, turned to jewels. The people believed. The voice continues softly. That nightmares were not curses, but guides, shadows that taught balance, a warning from within. And by honoring them, one could heal the spirit. A figure approaches, an elder wrapped in furs, eyes kind, face lined with wisdom. They lift a feather and brush it through the smoke, waving it slowly around the circle. The air hums softly, alive with calm power. In their hands whispers the storyteller. Feathers are more than decoration. They are bridges between breath and sky, between heart and heaven. They carry prayers, hopes, and healing through the unseen winds. The elder's feather moves gently through the air near you now. You can almost feel the faint brush of air against your cheek, cooling, soothing, cleansing. In this world of dreams, the storyteller breathes, the shaman, the healer, the dream walker. They do not flee the nightmare. They step inside it. They listen to its voice. They learn what it has come to teach. The drumbeat grows quieter until it's no more than a heartbeat beneath the earth. You can almost hear whispers in the fire, soft words in a language you don't know, yet somehow understand. Words that speak of balance, of returning to yourself. The healers teach that every dream, even the darkest, is a reflection of light hidden within, says the voice. To dream is to journey into the forest of your own soul. And there, even in the deepest night, there is always a glimmer. Waiting to guide you home, the fire dims now, and the elder smiles faintly before fading into mist. The feathers drift upward, glowing softly until they become stars. The storyteller's tone turns lighter, tender, like the hush before dawn. So when you wake and a dream lingers like smoke upon your mind, do not fear it. Hold it gently. Listen to it. For it is not a stranger. It is you, whispering to yourself through the veil of sleep. The sound of the drum fades entirely, placed by the soft hum of wind and the distant call of an owl. You breathe in that sound, letting it fill your chest, soft, ancient, and endlessly calm. The storyteller's voice returns, a quiet echo now. The night heals, dear dreamer. The night remembers. The feathers have whispered, and now it is time to follow the smoke into the next dream. The world dissolves into a slow swirl of silver mist. The sound of the drum fades completely now, replaced by a hush, the kind of silence that feels endless, ancient, and alive. Slowly the ground beneath you shifts. The scent of sweetgrass is replaced by something dry and warm. The fragrance of sand kissed by the sun. You open your inner eyes and find yourself standing in the desert beneath a vast silver moon. The dunes stretch endlessly in every direction, glimmering like waves frozen in gold. The air is cool and still, and every grain of sand seems to hum faintly, as though whispering secrets of time itself. The storyteller's voice is calm, flowing like desert wind. Our story tonight drifts now to the ancient deserts. Two lands where the moon was a queen, and the stars were her watchful servants. To the people who found meaning in dreams that rose with the dunes and faded like mirages at dawn. A gentle wind stirs the sand. You can hear the whisper, a faint crystalline sound, like the sea sighing through 1,000 tiny shells. In the old Arabian deserts, the storyteller continues softly. Dreams were sacred messages carried by the night wind. The people believed that the soul, while the body slept, could wander beyond the horizon, crossing dunes of time and memory. To meet the unseen, you picture a lone tent glowing faintly beneath the stars. Inside, a woman wrapped in flowing silks sits beside a lantern. She gazes into its flame, her eyes reflecting both sorrow and strength. She is a dream reader, a rawaya, a teller of meanings. In the morning, the storyteller murmurs, people would come to her, speaking softly of what they had seen in their sleep, a falcon, a storm, a well that never dried. And she would listen, her fingers tracing symbols in the sand. For to her, every image, every shadow in a dream, carried the weight of destiny. The wind picks up again, you can almost feel it brushing across your face, cool and fragrant with distant myrrh. The sand seems to shimmer in waves, like rippling silk. They believed, the voice continues, that a nightmare was not a curse, but a test. A spirit's way of asking if you were ready to face what you feared. To walk through the dark mirage and come out wiser. The woman lifts her gaze to the moon, eyes shining with reflection. She once said, whispers the storyteller, the nightmare is only the desert's night. but every night hides dawn in its heart. The phrase hangs in the air, weightless, sacred. You feel your breath deepen, matching the rhythm of that truth. Storyteller's tone becomes softer, hypnotic. Farther east, in the sands of Persia, poets spoke of dreams as caravans of the soul. Each dream was a traveler, bearing gifts from unseen worlds. Some brought joy, some fear, but all carried wisdom. A caravan appears in your mind, camels moving gracefully under the moonlight, their bells jingling softly. The sand glows beneath their feet like scattered starlight. You watch as one of the travelers looks upward, whispering a prayer to the stars, a prayer not for safety, but for vision. The ancient Persians, the storyteller murmurs, believed that in sleep, the spirit visits the realm of Huma, the dream bird, a creature that never lands, always soaring between worlds. If your heart was pure, Huma would brush your soul with its wing, bringing truth through dream. You can almost feel that brush now, a soft, fleeting warmth across your shoulders, leaving peace in its wake. The desert night deepens. The moon climbs higher, casting long silver paths across the dunes. Somewhere far off, you hear the haunting notes of a flute, slow, wandering, eternal. The storyteller speaks in a whisper. Dreams here are not merely visions. They are the desert speaking to the heart. And the heart, if it listens, will always find its way home. The wind sighs once more, and the sands begin to glow faintly like stars fallen to earth. You can almost see shapes moving in that glow. Faces, memories, ancestors, drifting like mirages made of light. The storyteller breathes the closing words of this dream. Remember, wanderer of sleep, even in the vast emptiness of night, the desert remembers you. The sands carry your footsteps. The moon never forgets your name. The sound fades into stillness, a perfect calm that feels like forever. The wind that once carried sand now grows cool and heavy with mist. You feel damp air brushing your cheeks, tasting faintly of salt and mystery. The world around you shifts, dunes melting into rolling waves, and desert winds into ocean whispers. You open your inner eyes and find yourself standing on a moonlit shore. The sea stretches before you, vast and eternal, its waves rising and falling in slow rhythm like the breath of the world itself. The storyteller's voice is low, melodic, rippling like water. Now we drift to the edge of the sea, the realm where dreams are born from tides and nightmares are swallowed by the deep. Here, the ocean holds every forgotten memory, every sigh of the sleeping soul. You listen. The sound of waves becomes hypnotic, soft crashes and long retreats, again and again. It feels like a lullaby written by the earth, sung since the beginning of time. In the myths of the Polynesian voyagers, the storyteller murmurs. The sea was a living being, vast and wise, sometimes gentle, sometimes fierce. They believed that dreams were waves upon its surface, visions carried by the currents between this world and the next. You can almost see them, canoes carved from sacred wood, gliding silently through moonlit waters. Their sails billow like wings, and the people gaze at the stars, reading them as maps written by the gods. When they dreamed, the storyteller continues softly. They did not dismiss what they saw, for they knew that the ocean speaks in symbols, that a dream of calm seas means harmony ahead, and that a dream of storms is a warning to prepare. The air hums faintly with the echo of distant chants. A soft drumbeat rises, the rhythm of paddles dipping into water. The moonlight glimmers upon the surface, weaving a trail of silver behind them. The Polynesians believe that the ancestors traveled through dreams, the voice says. When a voyager slept upon the sea, their spirit would sometimes drift to the underworld of the ocean, where the souls of the departed danced in coral halls, surrounded by glowing fish in endless twilight. You can almost see it. A luminous realm beneath the waves, where the water glows with pale blue light. Spirits glide gracefully, smiling, peaceful, their movements slow and weightless, like seaweed swaying in a current. The nightmares, the storyteller breathes, came when a voyager forgot to listen to the sea, when they ignored its warnings or resisted its guidance. But even then, the storm was not punishment, it was remembrance. The sea, like the dream, only wishes to awaken you. The waves grow gentler, softer now, each one rolling closer, then fading away into a calm hush. You stand at the edge, feeling cool water brush your feet, the foam curling around your toes.
Oh.
It feels alive, not cold, but cleansing. In the Nordic lands, too, the storyteller whispers, the sea was sacred to dreamers. They said the waves were the voices of lost souls, sailors, wanderers, loved ones gone beyond. And when the wind howled across the fjords, they believed it was the sound of those spirits calling home. The mist deepens. You can almost make out ghostly shapes in the distance, pale forms drifting just above the waves. They are not frightening. They seem gentle, sorrowful, luminous. In those northern nights, the storyteller says, when the aurora danced across the sky, the people dreamed of ships made of starlight vessels that carried the dead to peaceful shores. They said if you dreamed of sailing beneath such lights, your soul was being healed, guided by the ancestors toward serenity. The sea breathes again, its rhythm slower now. The stars above shimmer, mirrored perfectly on the surface below, so that sky and sea become one. The storyteller's voice grows fainter, softer, wrapping around your heart like the sound of a tide that never ends. The sea teaches us that all dreams flow, all fears dissolve, and all things return. Even the nightmares, like waves, must break and fall, and when they do, they leave behind pearls of wisdom, gleaming softly in the sand. You breathe in deeply the scent of salt, sound of surf, the endless calm of moonlit water. And as you exhale, you feel everything within you, every worry, every shadow carried gently out to sea. The ocean dreams with you, the voice whispers, and its tides will keep you safe until the dawn. The waves slow, and slow, until there is only stillness. A sea of stars, a sea of peace. The sound of the ocean fades, soft as an exhale. Now, the scent of salt is replaced by something older. Earth after rain, pine resin, moss warmed by sunlight. You hear the distant flutter of wings, the soft creak of trees swaying in the night breeze. You open your inner eyes once more and find yourself standing at the edge of a vast emerald forest. The moonlight filters through the canopy above, broken into silver ribbons that dance across the ground. Mist curls low among the roots, glowing faintly where it touches the moss. The storyteller's voice returns, hushed, reverent, like a prayer carried by leaves. We enter the dreaming wood, the place where roots whisper secrets older than time. Here, the night breathes with the rhythm of the earth, and the trees keep watch over those who sleep. You take a slow step forward, the soil soft beneath your feet. The air feels alive, thick with unseen presence. Every sound, a rustle, a sigh, a drop of dew falling from a leaf seems to echo forever. In the ancient Celtic lands, the storyteller says softly, the forest was a living spirit, a bridge between worlds. To dream beneath its boughs was to walk between the human realm and the realm of the Aos Cid, the shining folk, the spirits of earth and air. The voice drifts with the sound of rustling branches, as if nature itself is listening. The Celts believed that nightmares were sometimes sent by mischievous spirits, tests of courage, riddles of the heart. But they also believed that if one met a nightmare without fear, spirit would bow and offer wisdom in return. You can almost see it, a lone traveler, cloaked and weary, sleeping beneath an ancient oak. In his dream, shadowy shapes surround him. Not monsters, but spirits made of mist and moonlight. They whisper riddles, their voices soft as wind through leaves. When he does not flee, when he listens, they smile and vanish, leaving behind a silver leaf glowing in his hand. The forest, too, the storyteller breathes, was a healer of dreams. Those who carried sorrow would sleep beneath a willow's shade, and by morning their pain would soften, for the tree had drawn it gently away. You pause beneath a willow now. Its branches hang low, veiling you in quiet green light. You can almost feel it, the faint hum through its roots, the slow pulse of life beneath the earth. It feels like the heartbeat of the world itself. The Druids, the storyteller continues, spoke of the dreaming wood, a realm entered through sleep. There, every tree had a soul, and each leaf a memory. When one dreamed of walking through that forest, it was said they were being shown the path back to balance. A soft wind stirs, carrying whispers. You think you hear words faint, musical, not in any language you know, yet filled with meaning. It feels like the earth itself is speaking. In the Slavic lands, too, says the storyteller gently, they believed the forest watched over dreams. Spirits known as Lesh guarded its depths, sometimes playful, sometimes fierce. If you respected the woods, they would guide you safely home. But if you disrespected nature, the Leshi might lead you in circles until dawn, a dream that felt like wandering forever. A flicker of movement draws your attention, a figure between the trees, tall and shadowed, crowned with branches, its eyes glowing like distant embers. Yet it is not frightening. It bows its head slightly, acknowledging you, and then fades back into the mist. The forest spirits remind us, the storyteller whispers, that we are never truly lost, only being asked to listen more deeply. The air grows still again, heavy with the scent of pine and wet soil. 1,000 tiny lights begin to glow between the trees, fireflies pulsing softly like stars that fell to earth. The Celts believed that when one dreamed of such lights, the voice murmurs. It meant that guidance was near, that the spirits of ancestors walked beside you, unseen but close. You feel their warmth now, a calm presence at your shoulder, not a voice, but a feeling, like being remembered by something older than time. The storyteller's voice softens to a near whisper. Close your eyes, dreamer. Feel the roots beneath you. They remember every soul that has ever slept upon the earth. Their whispers are gentle, their stories endless. Let them hold you. Let them lull you, till your breath becomes one with the forest's sigh. The wind moves again, slow, rhythmic, and the branches above sway like lullaby hands. You breathe in the forest, and the forest breathes you back. And then there is only peace, deep, green, eternal. The forest fades, its whispers growing distant, until only the sound of your own steady breath remains. Then slowly you begin to feel warmth, a deep, comforting heat that rises through the air. Not harsh, not consuming, but radiant, alive. You open your inner eyes again, and before you stands a circle of glowing embers. The earth is dark beneath your feet, soft with ash and soot. The air flickers with gold, and the scent of burning cedar and sweet resin curls around you like an embrace. The storyteller's voice hums low, rich, almost glowing itself. Now we come to the dream of fire, the heart of renewal, the element that destroys and creates in the same breath. For all across the world, people have looked into the flames and seen their dreams flicker there, their fears dancing and dissolving into light. You watch as sparks leap upward, drifting into the night sky like tiny souls finding their way home. Each one fades slowly, like a sigh. In ancient Greek tradition, the storyteller says softly, the hearth fire was sacred to Hestia, goddess of home and peace. When the people slept, they believed her flame protected them from restless dreams. A nightmare, they said, could not cross the circle of her warmth. The crackle of the fire seems to answer, popping gently like laughter. You can almost picture a small home, stone walls, a hearth glowing softly while a family sleeps nearby. The flame hums quietly, steady and kind, holding away the night's shadows. But fire, the voice continues, was also the gift of Prometheus, who stole it from the gods to give to humankind. They said that within the fire burned the spirit of awareness, the spark that allowed humans to dream, to create, to see beyond what was given. The flames before you rise higher, curling and twisting into shapes, faces, wings, stories. They shimmer and fade like thoughts half remembered. To dream of fire, the storyteller murmurs, was to dream of transformation. The old self burning away, the new rising from the ashes. Many feared such dreams, for fire does not ask, it teaches. You feel the warmth against your skin, gentle yet powerful. It doesn't burn, it cleanses. You realize that in the dream, the fire is not outside of you. It lives within, deep and calm, like a candle in the heart. In Hindu tradition, says the voice softly, the fire god Agni carried prayers to the heavens. When one slept, the flame of the spirit, the Atman, would wander through dreams, gathering wisdom from unseen realms. If the fire dimmed, one's soul grew weary. If it burned bright, one woke renewed. The air around you begins to shimmer with golden light. You can almost see distant figures seated around sacred fires, their faces calm, eyes closed, their dreams carried upward in smoke that spirals like a hymn. The nightmares, the storyteller continues gently, were seen as smoke, heavy, fleeting, born from what the soul needed to release. But the fire beneath it was eternal, clear, untouched. A gust of wind stirs the embers, and the flames rise high, turning crimson and orange and white. You hear a sound, faint, like voices singing together in the distance. Low, resonant, ancient. It feels like the chanting of thousands of dreamers, their breaths joined as one. In Japanese belief, the voice whispers, the fire festivals of summer, the Aben, were times to honor the ancestors. Lanterns were lit, candles placed upon rivers, and flames guided spirits home. Dreams during Oban were sacred, for it was said the ancestors could visit, their love burning softly through the night. You can almost see the floating lanterns drifting along a quiet river. Countless points of orange light mirrored in the water below. Each one carries a wish, a memory, a gentle goodbye. The storyteller's voice softens like the last glow before dawn. Fire consumes, yes, but it also purifies. It reminds us that even nightmares can burn away the heaviness of the heart, leaving behind clarity, the glowing coal of truth, the flames before you begin to settle, shrinking back into embers. Their glow deepens into a steady pulse, like a heartbeat in the dark. Tonight, the storyteller breathes. The fire asks only this, that you release what no longer serves you. Let it burn softly away. Every fear, every doubt. And in its place, let warmth remain, a quiet golden light that will guide you through the rest of your dreams. You inhale. The air smells of cedar, warmth, and peace. You exhale, and with that breath, you watch your worries dissolve into the smoke. The embers pulse once more, like stars settling into the earth. The world fades into dark velvet silence, warm, calm, infinite. The glow of the fire fades, its last ember winking out like a star sinking beneath the horizon.
For a moment, there is only darkness, deep and endless. Then, a cool breath moves through the air.
It brushes your face like a sigh, and you open your inner eyes to see snow falling in slow, soundless spirals. The world around you has changed again. Where warmth once danced, there is now stillness. Where flame once flickered, there is reflection. You stand within a landscape of silver and blue. A frozen lake stretches before you, its surface so smooth it mirrors the stars perfectly. Pines rise in quiet ranks along the shore, their branches heavy with snow. The air sparkles faintly with frost crystals, catching the moonlight like tiny shards of glass. The storyteller's voice comes softly. It's almost blending into the hush of falling snow. Now we walk into the dream of ice, the silence that listens, the stillness that heals. In this world, every breath is a prayer, and every snowflake carries a memory of peace. You exhale slowly. The mist of your breath drifts before you, glowing faintly in the moonlight before dissolving into nothing. In the Arctic North, the storyteller continues. Among the Inuit and Sami peoples, dreams were seen as journeys through the white silence, a place where spirits moved unseen, speaking not in words but through feeling. You imagine vast tundras under a pale sky, a lone figure wrapped in fur, sleeping within an igloo's glow. Their breath rises, their spirit traveling far beyond the frozen plains. Through their dream, they walk alongside the aurora, guided by shimmering ribbons of green and violet light. The Inuit shamans, or Angakuit, whispers the storyteller, believe that the aurora itself was a bridge, a dance of souls between worlds. When one dreamed of those lights, it was said that an ancestor was near, watching, whispering wisdom through the colors. You look up, the sky above the frozen lake begins to move. Green and blue light unfurl like silk, bending, rippling, alive. The aurora's glow reflects on the ice below, until you are standing between two skies, one above, one beneath. The northern peoples, the storyteller breathes, knew that the silence of winter was not emptiness, but listening. They said the snow held memory, every flake a moment, every drift a story whispered by the wind. When they dreamed of ice, it was not death they saw, but preservation, the soul resting, waiting, becoming clear. The air grows even stiller, until you can hear the faintest sounds, your heartbeat, your breath, and the soft, rhythmic crackle of frost forming upon the branches. In Scandinavian tales, the voice continues softly. Winter was ruled by Skadi, goddess of snow and solitude. She was fierce, but kind, teaching humans the value of stillness, the strength in silence. Those who dreamed of walking beside her learned how to endure, how to find warmth within even the coldest nights. You imagine her now, tall, graceful, her hair silver as moonlight, her cloak trailing snowflakes. She moves silently across the ice, her eyes calm and ancient. When she looks toward you, there is no fear in her gaze, only understanding. She reminds us, says the storyteller, that sometimes the soul needs silence to heal. That in dreams of snow and solitude, we are given the gift of reflection, the gentle mirror of the self. The goddess lifts her hand, and the wind stills completely. The world freezes in that perfect, crystalline moment. No sound, no motion. Only the slow shimmer of the aurora moving through stillness. The storyteller's tone becomes softer, slower. It's hypnotic. In some Japanese mountain villages, it was said that those who dreamed of snow spirits, the Yukiana, were being cleansed of sorrow. Her breath could freeze, yes, but it could also soothe. She would visit only those burdened by grief, wrapping them in quiet until their hearts grew calm again. You can almost feel it, the coolness of air around you, light and pure, filling your lungs like moonlight itself. Your body feels weightless, your mind clear, your heart still. The dream of ice, the storyteller whispers, teaches the power of stillness, that peace is not always warmth but acceptance. That silence, too, can sing. The snow continues to fall, each flake glowing faintly as it touches the earth. The frozen lake beneath you hums softly, like a lullaby made of light. You breathe once more, the cold air fresh and clean, washing away the last traces of unrest. And as your breath mingles with the snow, it becomes part of the dream, quiet, endless, eternal. The aurora fades into dusk, its colors dissolving like ink into deep twilight. You stand for a while, listening to the hush between heartbeats, that sacred stillness that lives between one dream and the next. Then, from somewhere beyond the frozen trees, a soft drum begins to beat. Slow, steady, ancient. It sounds like the pulse of the earth. It sounds like memory. The storyteller's voice returns, warm as smoke rising from hidden embers. Every culture, every corner of the world, has known this truth, that dreams connect us to the ones who came before. That when we dream, the past leans close and breathes through us. Tonight, we travel into those ancestral dreams where time bends and voices long forgotten begin to sing again. The snow melts beneath your feet. The light shifts. You find yourself walking through a forest that hums with life. Ancient trees stretching so tall their crowns vanish into starlight. The ground glows faintly, carpeted with moss the color of emerald fire. A figure stands by the roots of an enormous oak, wrapped in robes of deep brown and red clay tones. They hold a staff carved with spirals, the symbol of cycles, of birth and return. They speak softly, in a language you do not know, but somehow understand. In African traditions, the storyteller explains, it is said that dreams are the bridge between the living and the ancestors. Among the Zulu, when one dreams of a departed relative, it is not an illusion, it is a visit. The ancestors come to guide, to warn, to heal. You hear the rustle of grass, the hum of crickets, the faint laughter of unseen spirits drifting on warm air. The scent of earth rises, rich and comforting. You can almost feel the pulse of drums beneath your feet, resonating through the ground like the rhythm of time itself. In some tribes, the storyteller continues. A nightmare was not feared. It was a message, a teaching moment sent by an ancestor who wished to wake the sleeper's spirit. They would say, do not turn away from fear, listen to it. For fear is only love disguised as a warning. The forest begins to shimmer, you see forms moving between the trees. Shadowy at first, then clearer. Elders with kind eyes, faces marked with wisdom. They carry bowls of light, offering them to you one by one. Each bowl holds something you've forgotten, a memory, a story, a dream that once gave you strength. Accept them silently. You feel them sink into your heart like sunlight through water. The Aboriginal Australians, the storyteller whispers, spoke of the dream time, the realm where creation began. To dream was to return to that sacred place, to touch the beginning of all things. Every creature, every hill, every star, born from the dreams of the ancestors. You close your eyes. When you open them again, you are standing under a crimson sky painted with spirals of light. The land stretches vast and endless red earth, shimmering heat and ancient stones humming softly with song. A group of people sit in a circle near a campfire. Their voices rise in slow, rhythmic chants, not words but patterns of sound that feel older than time. Each tone vibrates through the air like ripples in still water, carrying the essence of their story. In their belief, the storyteller says, nightmares were not intrusions. They were awakenings, reminders of a truth the soul had drifted from. To dream of darkness was to remember the light. The fire before you flares, and in its glow, you see images painted on air, serpents made of stars twisting through rivers of flame, birds of smoke soaring upward, faces of ancestors smiling gently before dissolving back into starlight. The drums fade into the whisper of the wind again. The forest, the desert, the night, all begin to blend. The storyteller's voice grows softer, slowing like a lullaby nearing its end. All over the world they murmur, humanity has always known we do not dream alone. When you close your eyes, the ancestors gather close. They walk the same roads within you. They keep the fire burning, even when you forget its warmth. You sit down beneath the great oak. Its roots curl around you like arms. You feel the heartbeat of the world beneath your palms. And as you drift deeper, the drums become your heartbeat. The whispers of the ancestors become your breath. You are no longer only dreaming, you have become the dream itself. The heartbeat of the drums fades into the horizon, replaced by the low hum of wind sweeping across endless dunes. You open your eyes and the air feels warmer now, dry, golden, tinged with the scent of sand and time. The stars above are fierce and unblinking, scattered across the sky like jewels upon velvet. Each one seems alive, pulsing faintly, whispering stories that only the wind can hear. The storyteller's voice returns, soft, slow, dusted with mystery. Our story now drifts into the desert, the great sea of sand, where the line between waking and dreaming grows thin. Here, nightmares are not enemies, they're messengers wrapped in the wind. You begin to walk, your feet sinking into fine, cool sand. Every step sends ripples outward, shimmering under the starlight. In the distance, you see a fire, a single, flickering point of warmth, surrounded by tents made of woven cloth, colored deep red and black. As you approach, figures sit beside the fire, their faces illuminated by its glow. Their eyes are ancient, like wells filled with moonlight. One of them gestures for you to sit. You do? The storyteller whispers, among the Bedouins, the desert was seen as the realm of both solitude and spirit. They spoke of dreams as journeys through unseen worlds, carried on the breath of the wind. If one dreamed of sandstorms or shadowed figures, it was said that the desert spirits, the jinn, had come to test the soul's strength. The fire crackles, casting shifting shadows that dance along the dunes. You can almost hear the faint rustle of unseen movement in the night, not threatening, but watchful, curious. The jinn, the voice continues, were not evil. They were ancient forces of nature, guardians of places forgotten by men. Sometimes they frightened dreamers, not to harm them, but to awaken their courage, to remind them that fear, too, is sacred. A warm breeze passes through the camp, carrying a sound like distant singing. It rises and falls like the sighing of the earth itself, the desert breathing in its sleep. In the Arabian deserts, when a traveler woke from a nightmare, the elders would say, "Listen, not flee," for the spirit that visited you carried knowledge. And those who faced the dream, instead of running from it, would find protection on their next journey. You gaze out across the dunes. For a moment, they seem alive, shifting shapes under the moonlight, like waves made of memory. Faces form and fade in the sands, old kings, travelers, forgotten poets, each whispering softly as they pass, "Remember us, remember the wind." The storyteller's voice dips lower, like a lullaby made of wind and flame. In the ancient Egyptian desert temples, priests recorded dreams in sacred journals called Books of the Night. They believed that nightmares were the voice of the gods, warning of imbalance in the soul. The dreamer was not cursed but chosen, touched by divine shadow. You can see it now, stone walls carved with hieroglyphs that glow faintly under moonlight. A priest kneels before a golden idol, murmuring softly as incense curls upward in thin threads of smoke. A figure lies upon a slab of cool limestone, eyes closed in trance, dreaming beneath the gaze of Anubis, god of night and transformation. The Egyptians, the storyteller whispers, understood what many have forgotten, that to face the darkness within one's dream is to return stronger, purer, more awake, they said. A nightmare is a night-born teacher, stern but wise. The wind stirs again, carries the faint scent of myrrh and desert flowers, a perfume of ancient peace. The storyteller pauses, and their voice grows gentler, almost like a breeze through reeds. The desert holds its lessons in silence. Every grain of sand has been touched by time. Every night is a mirror showing not what you are afraid of, but what you are ready to release. The fire burns lower. The stars seem closer now, so close you could reach out and touch their cool glow. You feel the night stretch on forever, a quiet so deep it feels like being wrapped in eternity itself. In that stillness, you hear it again. The whisper of the desert spirits, not words, but a feeling, like warm air across the skin of your thoughts. They are saying, "You are safe now. You have wandered far enough. Rest, dreamer, rest." You close your eyes, and the sand beneath you shifts, soft, embracing, weightless. It feels like floating on golden clouds. The wind hums a final lullaby. The desert exhales, and the dream carries you onward. The warm desert breeze fades, melting into cool mist. The sand beneath your feet turns to silk-soft grass, damp with dew. A hush falls over the world, a quiet so deep that even the moon seems to hold its breath. And then, gently, the sound of running water, a stream murmuring through bamboo. Lanterns float on its surface, glowing softly like drifting stars. You find yourself standing on a wooden bridge, the night thick with the scent of jasmine and rain. The storyteller's voice returns, tender as the brush of silk. Our dream now drifts eastward, to the lands of the rising moon, where nightmares were not feared, but woven into beauty, where the shadows themselves became teachers of balance. You breathe in the cool air, carries the faint notes of temple bells, the flutter of paper charms, the slow rhythm of peace. In ancient China, the storyteller begins. Dreams were seen as threads connecting heaven and earth, woven each night by spirits known as the Meng Po and Zhou Gong. To dream was to enter the cosmic tapestry, to glimpse the unseen workings of fate. You imagine it, a vast celestial loom stretching through the sky. At its center, a gentle goddess sits, Meng Po, the Lady of Forgetfulness, weaving mortal dreams with threads of memory and mercy. Her hands move in silence, weaving joy and sorrow, hope and fear, every nightmare, every vision, a piece of balance. When one dreamed of monsters or ghosts, the storyteller continues. The wise did not recoil. They burned incense and asked, "What are you trying to teach me?" For the nightmare, they said, is the heart speaking through images too strong for words? The stream beside you ripples, and in its reflection, you see another world, a shadowed palace glowing in moonlight. Silken curtains stir, and an old scholar sits beside a candle, writing in slow, deliberate strokes. The paper glows faintly, as if alive. That scholar, whispers the storyteller, is Zhou Gong, the dream interpreter of legend. He believed that every dream was a message from the soul. Nightmares were never random. They were riddles, meant to awaken wisdom. The scholar's candle flickers. He looks up at you and smiles, the kind of smile that knows all secrets and forgives them. Then, his form dissolves like mist, and you are standing in a garden of cherry blossoms. The petals fall around you, slow and weightless, landing upon a small pond where koi glide like living jewels. A faint breeze passes through the blossoms, carrying whispers of poetry, verses written by long-forgotten monks and dreamers. In Japan, the storyteller breathes dreams were sacred, gateways to the realm of spirits and ancestors. Nightmares were seen not as punishments, but as echoes of imbalance, moments when the spirit needed cleansing or courage. You look toward the edge of the pond, where a small shrine glows beneath the trees. A figure stands before it, dressed in flowing white robes. It is a monk, his head bowed, his voice soft as he chants to the night. He prays to Baku, the dream eater, the storyteller says. According to legend, Baku was born from the spare pieces of all the world's creatures: elephants, trunk, tiger's paws, rhinoceros eyes. He was not evil, but a guardian called upon to devour nightmares, leaving the dreamer's heart at peace. You can almost see him now, a great gentle beast moving through moonlit mist. His eyes glow faintly gold. His breath smells of sandalwood and dawn. He moves towards sleeping villagers, softly inhaling their fears, leaving only calm in his wake. When the Japanese dreamed of Baku, the storyteller murmurs, they would whisper before sleeping, "Baku-san, come eat my dream." And so their nightmares dissolved into stillness. Fear turned into morning light. A flute begins to play somewhere in the distance, low, hollow, hauntingly beautiful. Its notes rise like the smoke of incense, slow and spiraling. And in the mountains of Tibet, the storyteller continues. The monks of the Bon and Dzogchen traditions practiced dream yoga, a sacred art of remaining awake while dreaming. They believed that even nightmares could be transformed by awareness, that to look upon fear with compassion was to turn it into light. You imagine those monks now, seated in caves illuminated only by butter lamps, their minds as clear as the sky beyond thought. Even as storms of dream rise within them, they remain still, watching, breathing, transforming shadow into serenity. The storyteller's tone deepens, flowing like a mantra. The East teaches us this, that nightmares are not enemies to banish, but shadows to embrace. That by holding fear and love's still gaze, we find awakening. A lantern drifts past you on the stream. Its flame flickers, dances, and steadies again. You follow it with your eyes as it floats into darkness, calm, unafraid, free. The bamboo rustles. The moon glows silver through the mist, and the storyteller whispers, so softly it feels like the night itself speaking. Peace is not the absence of shadow. It is the gentle understanding of it. You breathe in, and as you exhale, your body feels lighter, as though every nightmare you've ever had has turned to a drifting petal. It's floating away on quiet water. The lantern's glow fades into the mist, and with your next slow breath, the scent of rain and cedar fills the air. You hear the sound of rustling leaves, gentle and rhythmic, the forest breathing around you. When your eyes open again, you stand at the edge of a vast woodland. The trees rise high and ancient, their trunks wide enough to hold stories within their rings. Moss carpets the ground beneath your bare feet, cool, soft, alive. Somewhere in the distance, an owl calls once, twice, and then silence folds itself over the world. The storyteller's voice returns, low and resonant, like the hum of the earth itself. Our journey now enters the forest of dreams, the sacred realm of the indigenous peoples of the Americas, where every shadow, every whisper of wind carries meaning. Here, dreams are not separate from waking life. They are woven into the spirit's path. You walk slowly between the trees. Each step releases a faint scent of pine and soil, grounding you deeper into stillness. A circle of firelight appears ahead, gentle, golden, flickering like the heartbeat of the forest. Around it sit figures wrapped in blankets of woven patterns, their faces serene, their eyes reflecting both fire and stars. In the Lakota tradition, the storyteller begins softly. Dreams were sacred messages from the Great Spirit. To dream was to travel, to cross the bridge between the physical and the spiritual. Nightmares were not evil. They were warnings, guidance, or lessons. The dream catcher was made not to destroy them, but to transform them. You gaze upward, above the circle. A dream catcher sways from the branches, its web glistening with dew, its feathers stirring in the night breeze. When the wind passes through, it sings softly, a tone like water over stone. The web, the voice explains, was meant to catch the dark dreams, not to banish them, but to hold them until morning light could dissolve their fear. It teaches us that even the nightmare can become wisdom, if it is held gently enough. The fire crackles, its sparks spiraling upward, like tiny spirits returning to the sky. A young woman by the flames begins to hum, her voice smooth and low, weaving with the rhythm of the forest. Her song is not one of sadness, but of remembrance, a lullaby sung to the earth, to the stars, to every dreamer who walks between worlds. The Ojibwe, too, the storyteller continues, believed dreams were the soul's flight. When a person dreamed of falling, it was said their spirit had strayed too far, assigned to return, to breathe, to remember their body. When they dreamed of darkness, the elders told them, "Walk toward it."
Oh.
For the darkness is not an end, but a doorway. The forest stirs gently, branches creak, leaves shimmer like tiny mirrors of moonlight. You begin to feel something around you, not a presence, exactly, but a sense of being seen, welcomed, in the distance. The drum begins to sound slow, heartbeat steady. Its rhythm merges with the whisper of the wind, the hum of insects, the far-off howl of a wolf calling to the moon. The storyteller breathes softly. The people of the Amazon spoke of dreamwalkers, shamans who could cross into the dreams of others, not to control them, but to heal them. If someone was haunted by recurring nightmares, the shaman would enter their dream space through trance and song, meeting the spirit of fear face to face. You see him now, a figure painted with ash and ochre, eyes closed, sitting before a fire. Smoke curls around him, forming shifting faces that flicker and fade. He sings in a low, rhythmic tone, and as he does, the shadows in the smoke soften, becoming butterflies, dissolving into sparks of light. Their belief, the storyteller says. Nightmares were the cries of the soul, asking to be heard. The healer's role was not to silence them, but to listen, and to help them find rest. You kneel beside the forest fire, feeling the gentle warmth against your skin, the cool air brushing your hair, the steady heartbeat of drums echoing in your chest. The storyteller's voice becomes slower, softer, a whisper made of starlight and earth. To the people of the forest, dreams are alive. Dreams are alive. They are not illusions, but living spirits. To dream is to walk with ancestors, to learn from the unseen, to awaken gently. With reverence for all things, you look upward one last time, through the swaying trees, through the net of stars beyond. And as you do, a feather drifts down from the branches, light, white, shimmering faintly. You catch it in your hand. It feels warm, alive, pulsing faintly, as if holding a memory of peace. And somewhere deep in the forest, the wind whispers words that sound like a blessing. Sleep gently, dreamer. The forest remembers you. The fire hums low. The earth sighs. You feel yourself sink deeper, not into darkness, but into belonging. The forest fades into a golden haze. The warmth of the fire lingers on your skin, a comforting ember that follows you as you drift deeper into the dream. Your steps grow lighter. The air begins to shimmer. Somewhere above, the stars pulse like beating hearts, their rhythm slow and hypnotic. The storyteller's voice returns deep melodic, almost sung. Now we walk into the realm of the dream healers, the keepers of shadow and light. In every culture and every age, there have been those who knew the language of the sleeping mind, those who could soothe the frightened soul, turn darkness into wisdom. You find yourself standing before a wide stone terrace, surrounded by mountains veiled in mist. Candles flicker along the steps, their flames bending gently in the wind. The scent of herbs, sage, lavender, and something sweet fills the air. Figures in flowing robes move gracefully through the smoke, chanting in low, resonant tones that vibrate in your chest. In ancient Greece, the storyteller says softly, dream healing was a sacred art. The temples of Asclepius, god of medicine, were built as sanctuaries for dreamers, places where the sick came not for potions or cuts, but to sleep, to dream, and to be healed from within. You see them now, pilgrims lying on stone beds within a vast temple, their bodies resting, their faces calm. Priests and priestesses move quietly among them, burning incense and whispering prayers to invite Asclepius and his serpents of healing. Those who came here, the voice continues, believed that through dreams, the god himself would visit, sometimes as a man, sometimes as a snake of light, and whisper the cure directly into their hearts. The air ripples, and before you appears a figure made of golden mist, tall, calm, eyes glowing with gentle wisdom. A serpent coils at his arm, shimmering like living sunlight. When he looks at you, the world seems to pause. He does not speak, but somehow you understand. Your healing begins with seeing. The vision fades. You are left with a feeling of immense stillness, like standing in the moment between breath and thought. The storyteller's voice hums low, almost blending with the rhythm of your heartbeat. In ancient Persia, too, the healers of dreams, the Magis, believed that nightmares were born from imbalance between fire and water, light and shadow. Their rituals used the sound of bells, the glow of flame, and the stillness of water to restore harmony within the dreamer's soul. You can almost hear it. A soft chime echoing across the mountains, the faint hiss of fire touching oil, the slow ripple of water reflecting moonlight. Together, the sounds weave a lullaby so delicate that your body seems to hum with it. They said, the storyteller whispers that when one dreamed of drowning, it meant the spirit was thirsty for light. When one dreamed of fire, the soul was cleansing itself of old fear. Nightmares, to them, were sacred purges, the soul remembering how to balance. The terrace glows brighter now. The mist thickens, and the scent of jasmine returns mixed with myrrh. Figures in white and gold begin to move in slow circles, each carrying bowls of flame, their light flickering over calm faces. Their voices rise together, chanting in tones that feel older than the mountains. In India, the sages of the Upanishads taught that dreams were mirrors of the self. A nightmare was the shadow of attachment, a reflection of something the spirit still clung to. To face it, to look into its eyes, was to move closer to liberation. You see them now, yogis seated beneath banyan trees, their eyes closed, their breath deep, their stillness perfect. The air hums with energy, vibrating softly around their bodies like sunlight through heat. One of them opens his eyes and smiles, says the storyteller breathes. When the mind trembles in a dream, it is only forgetting that it is dreaming. Remember, you are both the storm and the calm. The mountains begin to glow faintly from within, their outlines pulsing with light, as though the earth itself were breathing. The chanting softens into silence. And in that silence, the storyteller's voice becomes a whisper meant only for your heart. All dream healers knew this truth, that nightmares are not darkness invading you. They are your own light, searching for a way to return. You feel it now, the warmth in your chest, the ease in your breathing, the quiet acceptance washing through you like sunrise over still water. The mist lifts, stars open above. The dream feels soft, boundless, and filled with gentle understanding. The storyteller's last words for this realm drift like a sigh. Sleep deeper now, for the healers have left their touch upon you. Where shadow once lingered, light now listens. You are safe. You are whole. The world shifts again, like the slow turning of a page in an ancient book. The last flicker of temple light fades behind you, and before your eyes, a vast expanse of desert appears. Quiet, endless, painted gold beneath a pale silver moon. The air is warm and still. Grains of sand shimmer softly, each one reflecting starlight, as though the sky has fallen to the earth. You take a slow breath, and the storyteller's voice returns, low, serene, carrying the rhythm of a heartbeat. Now the voice hums. We walk into the realm of the guardians of sleep, those who saw nightmares not as curses, but as messengers. Across time and land, many believed that the dreams which frightened us were, in truth, protectors in disguise, spirits and visions warning us of danger, or guiding us back toward balance. The wind moves softly, curling around your skin like warm silk. Ahead, a small encampment glows with firelight. Figures in long cloaks sit around the flames, nomads of the night, their faces calm, their eyes reflecting stars. You move closer, and they nod in greeting. These are the Bedouin dreamkeepers, the storyteller whispers. They wander the deserts of Arabia, where the veil between waking and dreaming is thin as a thread of smoke. They believe that nightmares are gifts from the jinn of the winds, meant to warn the dreamer, not to punish, but to prepare. One of the nomads, wrapped in blue cloth, begins to speak, his voice smooth and melodic, like sand sliding through fingers. When a dream frightens you, he says, do not fear the creature that chases you. Listen to the direction it comes from. If it runs from the east, a friend may betray you. If it rises from the west, a blessing may be hidden in sorrow. And if it stares from the center, from your own shadow, then it is not an enemy, but your own spirit asking to be heard. The wind sighs through the dunes, and the fire crackles in rhythm with your heart. The storyteller continues in Africa, too. Many tribes saw nightmares as guardian spirits that took frightening forms to warn the tribe of illness, drought, or unrest. You see it now, a circle of elders beneath a giant baobab tree. Drums pulse softly, steady and low. One elder holds a carved mask, half lion, half spirit, and speaks gently to a young dreamer trembling before him. The spirit you saw, the elder murmurs, is not hunting you. It stands before danger. It fights for your peace. The storyteller's tone turns softer, each word like a wave washing over your thoughts. In the old Celtic lands, the Druids believed that nightmares came from the other world, not as omens of doom, but as messengers from ancestors who guarded the living. When a nightmare struck, they would leave bowls of milk by the hearth and whisper blessings to the unseen protectors who carried their warnings through the veil of sleep. You picture it vividly, a small stone cottage by the cliffs of Ireland, the sea roaring beyond the window, a hearth glowing orange and gold. The air smells of smoke and rain. Someone, an old woman, perhaps sets a small bowl of milk near the flame and murmurs a soft prayer for the one who warns in shadows. Drink and be at peace. You feel the tenderness in her words. Even the darkness, she believes, deserves kindness. The storyteller breathes, and his voice becomes a whisper again. In these cultures, fear was never an enemy. It was the pulse of life reminding us to look closer, to listen deeper, to trust that even the storm can lead us home. The night deepens. The firelight grows dim. The desert begins to fade into mist once more. You sense the presence of unseen guardians, soft, silent, keeping watch as you drift further inward. Then, in the hush between heartbeats, the storyteller's tone slows, almost hypnotic. Let go of fear, dear dreamer. What you call nightmare may simply be your soul, standing guard while you rest. The air feels weightless. You exhale softly, and peace wraps around you like a blanket of light.